Quit eating, folks, 30 seconds to showtime. Grab your seat, leave your drinks to the bar. Hold your breath, put your hands together. We present Stanford Bay's finest star. Who has danced with the Mariner Guinea? Who has dined with the Queen of Vermont? We trace the voyages of Sinbad. Corresponded with the men who can't love us to be. C'est pas la même chose que la vache qui rit. La vache est fort, mon ami.
And hello, everybody. Welcome once again to another edition of the G Spots. My name's Jeff with the G, and today I'm chatting with my good friend, the old Jewish man in the old Jewish body, Hot Todd Lincoln. How's it going, Todd?
It's going well enough, man. You know, day by day, right? I mean, it's going pretty well, I guess. So how about you? How are things in the Big Apple? How's the move treating you?
So far, so good. I mean, I had a little setback for a minute between getting my credit card information stolen and then, breaking a toe and then subsequently losing my job because of said breaking toe. But I think it's what's that?
That sounds like a New York hassle, right? Like you go to New York and it's like, oh, what a great city. Oh, cool. I've been ripped off. Oh, I'm having hardship. That sounds about right.
Yeah, but on the plus side is I think the blessing in disguise. I got a much cooler job. I've done one performance so far here, and I've already got set up to produce my own show here next month. So that's
Excellent.
also nice at a really cool spot. And so if that goes well, that could become a regular gig. The guy had seen me perform for our good friend Kia St. Cyr's birthday, and so he goes, "Yeah, he really liked it." He goes, "Hey, do you want to do a thing at this venue, which is the City Reliquary for people outside, which is also where Kita performs at for the Last Chance Dancers." And so he saw what I did, and he really liked it, and he goes, "All right, cool. Can you put something together?" I go, "Yeah. What do you want to do?" And he goes, "Just something that kind of highlights like New York, or figure out." I go, "All right, cool. I can make something work." So I'm bringing in the Devil's Hour live again, and I'm like hiring like New York local, at least for the first show, like some people who really exemplify New York. And then after that, if it does well, start bringing people from out of town. Some good friends that are only a couple hours away. Might want to come in and drop a spot or something.
Like Baltimore?
Like Baltimore, as an example, Baltimore would be
as
a good
an example.
spot. As just example. A random example.
Yeah.
DC as well. I know of at least one performer has always expressed interest about performing at a show. But her timing is for a Thursday is a lot more difficult to try to finagle.
Right.
Yours is if a person in Baltimore, for example, wanted to come and do the show with planning, could do so.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'd be happy to. I mean, I would love to help out. It'd be fun to go up to New York. I haven't performed up there in a minute, so it'd be good to get back up to the city.
But yeah, and so I like my favorite format of producing shows is a true variety show. So the idea is bringing in like a burlesque performer, a sideshow performer, a musician, a comedian, or like all sort of like the idea is like no act is the same. No act is from the same venue thing, and so that's the thing I loved doing in Houston with this sort of show and some of the other shows I produced. And I want to keep that tradition because I love all these things.
Yeah, right.
So,
and it's really like all of those things. It's like for the uninitiated, right? It's like they see sideshow and they're like, "Oh, that's that," and then they see burlesque and I'm like, "Okay, well that goes over here." Like, but there are a lot of similarities and there are a lot of crossover and there's a lot of people that are involved in multiple circles, and so it's good for the people involved. It's good for the people watching to know like, oh, this is a community. Like this is a wider,
Yeah, like on the performer side, definitely that's how it is. But a lot of times, audience members don't realize all that, and so it's really cool, especially bringing in somebody like, for example, like I only have one confirmed performer. I got one person who's pretty sure they're going to do it, but I don't want to say who it is until they go, yes, definitely. But like Desiree Desaad, who's this amazing burlesquer from up here in New York, and also an amazing makeup artist. So she said she's going to do it. She said she's going to do it, and is happy to help and do stuff like that. And so she is like basically goes, "Here's these 15 acts I can do." I went, "All right, cool, dealer's choice, whatever you want to do." Like literally, this was like this was like the only day she wasn't performing, and she like just happened to be. I go, "All right, cool, whatever you want to do." And she goes, "All right, let me look at what's not being done the most, and I'll do that one." I go, "All right, cool. Here's this is what's going to thing." And she goes, "Yeah, it sounds like fun," because it's the idea is like doing the act and then sitting back and doing like a late night talk show chat after it. So that's always the idea. So that's the fun. So, anyways. But yeah, that's what I've been up to is then getting that ready, and then me and Maggie McMuffin are producing a show in December, and
Oh,
so
cool.
yeah, and it's gonna be
No,
like a weird.
I've not met or worked with Maggie. That's on my list. Like I see the stuff that Maggie posts, and it's like it's delightfully weird, and I really hope to share a stage or at least catch a show that Maggie's in at some point. So that would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, like we're like we came up with the idea as I go, we wanted to do like a weird like our inspiration is like a 70s like holiday variety show, like the Brady Bunch variety
Sure,
hour
sure,
for
yeah,
because it's like
yeah,
it's on the 30th. It's actually on the 30th, so it's like the day before New Year's Eve. So we're doing like a whole basically that's our basis idea, and then we're gonna like it's gonna get crazy. So people
yeah.
in New York or you want to travel for the holidays for New York, keep track of my socials. You're gonna see that show pop up, and it's gonna be weird. I actually I performed with her at Kita's birthday, and I met her a few months ago as well. But like, I performed with her and Cyclone Jack Sullivan
Yeah,
at
I
Kita's
know
birthday.
Cyclone Jack. I've I've been in like the same weekend of shows at the Hoot with Jack,
Yeah,
and yeah, that's yeah, he's a good guy.
no, he's a great guy. It's really funny when he goes, "Great, we get to perform again together." I go, "What do you mean?" I go, us doing bar tricks and like in New Orleans at the cat. He goes, "Dude, we're in a bar." I go, "Yeah, but we're getting paid to be in this bar. We're not just doing dumb tricks for our own amusement." He goes, "All right, that's fair." And so, no, it's another great guy. So yes,
Yeah,
so no, that's me in a nutshell. Which is this is me in a nutshell. Dumb Austin Powers joke. Uh,
right.
so yeah, we have people watching from multiple venues. Awesome, thank you guys.
Great.
If you guys have anything you want to chat with us about, drop in the chat. Otherwise, we're just gonna start talking dumb stuff, whatever that might be. I don't know. What for you? Like, what's the? Have you been doing anything exciting show wise lately?
Yeah, I've got so the last couple of spooky seasons, right? I've last few now. I've worked at the Nevermore Haunt here in Baltimore,
Yeah,
and which that random city we were talking about purely at random. I just happened to live there, and
yeah,
so funny how that works. But
yeah.
the so what's funny is like I not I mean it is what it is. I work outside, and so I've gotten a lot of like practice in terms of almost busking in a way because people come up, they pass or whatever. You bring people in, and it's been really helpful in terms of honing the acts down and not being too cute about it or too long winded about it. It's like do the thing, get their attention, do something else, and although there was one night apparently where things went really well because a few people came up and a few more people came up, and then it just sort of rode that wave where I just started and people started coming up, and they're like, oh, what's he doing? And so all of a sudden, all these people were in front of my little stage that I was on, and a few people that were the actors inside of the haunt came out like, well, what's going on? Like, did we close? Like, what's going on? Like, because everyone had come out of line to see what was going on with me, and no one was going through the haunt. So, they're like, okay, so what we're gonna do, Todd, is we're gonna like put a cap on what you do so that people can like we can cycle it through. And I was like, that's cool, whatever works, But yeah, so I generally am outside, which is a great idea in like September. Although we didn't open for obvious reasons in September this year, we're going to be open in October. But there are going to be limits of how many people are in the house at a time and all that. But yeah, no, it's it becomes less of a great idea further into October, standing outside doing sideshow. It's like the balloon swallow no longer works the later in October because the sheer physics of temperature don't allow for it, or just other things where it's like I'm not sure if I'm bleeding or if I'm just so cold that it's like the blood isn't flowing enough to bleed yet. We'll see later. So
That's where you're gonna start incorporating those fire acts into your into your
yeah,
strongman stuff just to keep warm.
right. Behold, let me show you my trick known as the burning barrel. I stand there and warm my hands. But it is kind of funny. It's like I'll walk on glass and do the axe levering, which you've seen a number of times. Where or more recently, I've graduated to a sledgehammer with a bell on my forehead, thanks to the 3D printing of Louis Fox. That I now have a a bell that I can wear on my forehead and ding, be my own high striker. But yeah, no, there was actually, it was really funny. There was a nurse that came to the haunt one night, and I did a mousetrap thing, and I must have like caught my tongue in just the wrong way. And she was like, "Oh, fake blood, nice touch." And I was like, "Uh-huh. Yeah, we think of everything." And then like she left, and then I told somebody who was like kind of, one of the guards, I was like, "Watch my stuff. I'll be right back." And went to go check to see how bad an issue it was.
Yeah.
But yeah, so doing the haunt, I've got a show with the Hexworks crew here in also again in Baltimore on the 30th of October.
Oh, yeah.
So I'll have a show there, performing at. I've been officiating weddings, but I'm actually performing at a wedding on Halloween itself this year. So, it's just enough to keep me off the streets and out of trouble.
Ish.
Yeah.
Ish. Because what Halloween's on a decent night this year? Is that right? I remember, like, am I misremembering?
Let's see. Quickly to the in my hand calendar. It is, it's a Sunday, so it's not the worst day.
Yeah, no, that's a.
I mean, it's better than like a Tuesday or Wednesday. It's like, well, I want to go out, but I have things like work and responsibilities to not be too tired for.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's well, at the very least, it's a day that at worst you do just start earlier. It's a like it can't be as late, but guess what? It's a Sunday, so I can start. I can start drinking at noon. Hey.
There you go. You can absolutely
do that. Oh, actually, I can start drinking at noon now because I'm a fucking adult. And hey, Drama Freak's in the chat. Hello, Drama Freak.
So I actually am working on. It's interesting. I've been adding new feats, but they're at that fledgling stage. Where it's like they're. There's an interesting thing, and I'd be curious to your thoughts about this too. But
Sure.
I once heard that you pretty much present 70% of what you can do, like a feat that you present, like particularly in strength work, right? If it's something that takes 70% of your ability, then that's ready for the stage, because you want to figure that like, oh, something may go wrong. I may not be feeling my best. I had to travel or whatever. So you don't want that thing that it's like 101% that if the planets align just right, that you can do it, because it's not quite in your repertoire yet. You can't just, it's not, at your command to do. So I'm trying to, so it's this interesting thing is like while I'm training, I do this stuff, which means this stuff gets better as I move up. Yeah. So too does everything else. Right.
Yeah. No, I get that. My end is, well, then I like my thing is 70% is bullshit that I talk, and then the 30% is actually the talent. But that's because that's what I do. I do a different thing, or so. But I make okay money with that 70% of bullshit. So I maybe I know once I get it to 80 or 90%, maybe I'll make good money. I mean,
I was gonna say hit him with the old razzle dazzle, whatever it takes.
That's the idea. So it's just me, but like that's like people like I ask me, what do you do? I go, I just really just drink and talk to people until they buy stuff. That's like 90% of my shtick. And then I occasionally cause myself mild discomfort by putting weird things on my face.
Sure.
Although me and Jack have a plan to do a stunt that's just so dumb and stupid. We know like the first time we're gonna do it is gonna be live on stage because that's the only way it's gonna work. But that's how I like doing most of my stunts like that. I mean, the illusion of like, okay, the mentalism stuff I rehearse and do stuff as much as possible. But anything involves pain or anything dumb and stupid, I do live on stage for the first time, like a glass for the first time on stage, because I'm a moron and I do not recommend that for anybody. Of course, anybody asks me to learn how to do glass heating, I tell them don't. Todd Robbins tells people to don't. He won't teach it, which is fair.
Because it starts to like chip away at the enamel on your teeth.
Well, my teeth are already shit, which is the other reason why I started, because I've got mine are horrible already. So it's like I'm not doing. I mean, I have broken teeth and stuff like that. So what's some more problems?
Right.
But like I like there's a burlesque performer up here. Like she wants to like do an act that involves her eating a glass, and I go for what? And she goes well, I'm gonna do a sugar glass, but I want to learn how to do it properly so that way it's done. I go okay, as long as we understand, I guess I'll teach you how to do it, but this is dumb. And every time she asks, I go,
So
dumb idea. But if you really want to do it, just let me know and we'll get together and I will teach you. It's on you to learn it, but I'm telling you right now, it is a dumb thing to learn.
so there was a funny thing. The first time I ever laid on a bed of nails and put a cinder block on my chest and had someone swing a hammer, I'd asked a friend of mine because I know, he was another sideshow friend, and he's certainly used the sledgehammer and on all that. And I said, all right, I want to learn, I want to experience this before I go live on stage anymore. Like I want to experience the cinder block break on my chest, so I know what to, like, if it really hurts and I cry, for example, I don't want to cry on stage. I just know not to do it on stage or whatever. If there's something like, there's obviously better ways of doing it. And so I just wanted to work it through. Right. And so he's like, all right, well, come on over. And so I brought my bed of nails over and, had a sledgehammer and we had a cinder block and so he's like, ready? I was like, yeah. And he's like, okay, 1, 2, 3, did it. Block broke. And I was like, okay, not as bad as I thought. I mean, it still was unpleasant. It's not, there's a reason why that's not a therapeutic method. That's not, it's not taught in PE as like, so you're not feeling your 100%. We'll revive you. Taking some cinder blocks to the chest. That'll do it. Like that's not, we're not, neither of us are doctors. And even so, it's still like, we wouldn't, even if we were, we wouldn't recommend that method. Yeah. But then it was kind of like, cool. He's like, yeah, man, I'm glad that works. And I was like, yeah, me too. Particularly like more so on my end. I mean, like, and he was like, yeah, no, well, I never did it before. And I was like, wait, did what? And he's like, yeah, I've always been on the other side. I've never swung a hammer before. Like so I'm glad that worked out. And I was like, what? It's like, yeah. I mean, that's kind of one of those should be like hashtag sideshow confessional, like, it happens, sideshow nonchalant.
Yeah, I've entered like it's every once in a while I think about cinder block stuff and I realize it's like in the end that's not my shtick. At least so far, I haven't found the reason why to make it worthwhile.
Right.
Maybe that's the thing. And so like there's some stuff people go, why don't you do this? I go, no. Like I had Ree on here and talking about like her like both escapology and like shibari and stuff like that. And I just went, it's cool you're doing it. It's not my gig. She goes, you never thought about doing a thing like straight jacket stuff? I go, in the end, the reason I don't do it is because I haven't figured out a reason to make it my thing.
Sure.
I don't want to just, I know, like, I mean, and it's nothing against people who do like various different arts and stuff, like various different stuff, as far as to incorporate their things. But a lot of people, like some people, like for example, yourself, you do a lot of different things in addition to sideshow, but you also incorporate that into the Hot Todd persona beyond just so like and so like me I go but I haven't found like all right cool like straight jacket or handcuffs something like that. I go I haven't figured out the way to put that into the Jeff with the G persona yet. So like until I figure it out, I'm not gonna do it.
That makes total sense. I mean you bring up a good point. Like I realize in the strength world, right, in the old time strength world, I know for a fact that I will never be the strongest person out there for 2 reasons. One, I mean, I'm 5'6", I can work out until forever, and there's still, the mountain still exists, right? Like,
yeah, the 6'9" dude from fucking Norway.
Right.
Just
right. And it's like, so there's only so much. I mean, I can certainly, that's not to say that I won't go farther than I ever thought possible with my own self. Like, I'm not putting a cap on my ability. But I just know that other people start bigger and will always be big, So what I do realize though is that my shtick is being somewhat, I think, clever and somewhat imaginative and inventive on how I put these things together, and they fit in with what I do. I mean, there was well, for the hoot, right? There was the all of a sudden I'm blanking what they called them. It was like the hoot fundraiser, but what was the
Give a Hoot?
Thank you. Yeah, all of a sudden it was just like this, it's like I was like right next to it and around it. It's like, I know I set my keys right here somewhere.
Yeah.
But they give a hoot, like there were, the video I put forth was a different way of doing things. And so each video was either a string feed or a sideshow thing that wasn't the most direct take on like, look what I can do. I can do a thing. Like I can rip a deck of cards. It was like, how does one play, play solitaire on an airplane table or on a very small table? Well, you rip the cards vertically and they're half as wide. So all of a sudden you've got all the room in the world, and that's a way of doing it. And it's like, it's a solution. It's probably not the solution most people think of, but it's like, I want to have a bigger vocabulary to solve these silly problems. So yeah. And that's what I think where my, not probably wasn't intentional, but it worked out. But I think that's where my strength lies, is that the melding of all of them. And right. Yeah,
that's where your strength lies, pun intended.
It didn't start off as a pun, but then I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna let it roll. That is totally
lean
fine.
into that stuff, because once again, that's also part of your shtick. It's like, all right, cool, it's a pun. I'm gonna lean into that shit. So
even today, I saw a news story and my brain immediately jumped on it. Did you? And this isn't like a joke. This isn't like a weird attempt at a setup. Like legitimately, Tom Felton. Do you know who Tom Felton is?
Yeah, he was Draco Malfoy. Yeah.
Right. Apparently in a celebrity golf tournament and he either passed out or got really sick and had to be escorted, like carried off of the golf course. Right. And, undisclosed medical reason, who knows. Right. And while I hope it's not serious, my brain immediately was like, man, Draco Malfoy, like having to be taken off the golf course. But then I thought, well, it's probably good that he's at least a man of means or even somewhat well known, because it just wouldn't do for Malfoy if he passed to be buried in Potter's Field. Like it would not do. And it's good. Thank you. And it was like I thought of it and I was like, I'm a terrible person, but it's funny to me. Like I did the lulz.
So that's sometimes that's why I do half the dumb jokes I do, is because I at least find them funny. So
sure.
So at least one person laughs. So that's the idea.
Right.
So
there was something so there was a point where I was writing these radio plays for something locally called Horatio Dark. The Between the Lines with Horatio Dark, and it was like these kind of suspense things or sci-fi, like a radio show, old time radio show, and we write these things. And there are a couple times where I would write a line for them. It's like I would write these plays and I would write something and I would be so mad at myself that I would pace around for a while. And I was like, if I made myself that angry, I cannot wait to see what the reaction is when the actor reads it aloud and a room of unsuspecting people have to hear it, and it's delightful. Like they're like, oh, come on. Oh, I mean, there was this guy, Thomas, I didn't realize I was going after him twice, never intentional, but he has like one of the hills he will die on for whatever reason is that a hot dog is not a sandwich. Like he's like, it is not a sandwich. I'm like, all right, you know what? That's not an important enough hill. I like sandwiches. I like hot dogs. And in my mind, they're interchangeable as far as a food source. It's fine.
Yeah. Oh, 1 second. Our good friend Liz from up Canada way says, "Hey."
Oh, hey.
Hey, Liz. Hey.
She's the best.
She is. I agree. Anyways, back to hot dog. Doesn't matter if it's a sandwich or not.
But in a particular play I wrote, this character went into the restaurant. There was a restaurant in Baltimore called the Diz, and then it subsequently closed. They actually like retired and sold their business just before COVID hit. Like good timing, so they didn't have to like weather the, like, oh, where are all the customers? Oh, right, no one can leave. But in the play, I refer to it as the Fizz, and this guy goes in and he's like, talking to somebody who's like, oh, I got 2 sandwiches, a hot dog and a BLT. And my friend Thomas was like, a hot dog is not a sandwich. And I could like hear him out in the audience, like was not having it. And then another play I wrote where it was like kind of like a future play, and I wanted to make it seem, like, all right, so like I imagine you ran into this a lot in Texas, but like people working on older cars, like they would have an old such and such car that they were, as they could, they'd work on it. So what I did was I had somebody working on an old Mazda 3, right? Because I wanted to put it in the future where he and his dad had restored an old Mazda 3, because it seemed kind of fun to think like, what cars would be worth restoring 30 years from now or 50 years from now, and and in the end, there was the other thing about it. It was like Horatio Dark. Sometimes it was like between the lines of reality, but then we'd get a little spicier, right? There'd be a little, how you doing, which was Horatio Dark between the sheets. And so we'd have these very spicy stories. And one was how, the artificial intelligence in this car got charmed by another car. So went over to the other, went over to the other car, only to realize it was a bad idea, and then came back to the original car. But he'd already installed the original AI, and the two AIs decided that they could work together. And I was like, so what would he say? Like, he'd have to say something dumb because he is just like this guy that's like dealing with like way above his, level of intelligence. And all of a sudden it occurred to me, it's like, so wait, so all three of us would be here, like you two and me, right? So it'd be like a Mazda 3. And yeah, I it's like one of those, it's like I typed it and I was like, ooh. And I got up and I walked around for a while. Yeah, line's still there. Walked around, sat down, and I was like, all right, I'm keeping it. Well, I forgot. Thomas had picked me up from the airport at one point in his Mazda 3. So it's like, I had to apologize. Like, I am not going after you. Like, I promise. And this was like a few years ago. In fact, I just saw him last weekend and I said, and he's like, I got a bone to pick with you. I'm like, what's that? And he's like, so Eileen, his girlfriend, is like, I'm making Todd jokes. So she'll like make these exaggerated puns. So he has that to look forward to. And then on occasion, she's like, are we taking my car? Or are we taking the Mazda 3? So like, apparently that lives on in their household. Champion.
No, that is a fucking solid ass joke. So that's not even a thing. Like, Mazda 3. That's so chef
and it's weird, right? Like, I mean, people ask me like, how is it that that you do these, or do you keep them? And it's like, I don't store them in a Rolodex in my head. I mean, the Rolodex would have to be thousands of pages, right, for every weird situation. It's just, they just pop in my head, but it's blessing and a curse, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's a good, I mean, like mine, I'm not going to lie. It's just like, I mean, I can do a pun every once in a while. My joke's different. I'm much more, I don't know. I can't even think of how my joke style is. I don't even, like, it's like same thing with you. You go, you know what's going to happen until like somebody says a thing and it just pops in your head to say it back. So,
right.
But Mazda 3, that's such a good joke. I'm going to be thinking about that for days now. Every time, like, I'm like, because like, I mean, I'm in like, well, I don't drive much anymore. I mean, New York is like, I mean, technically I could drive, but there's just no parking, so I don't drive anywhere.
Right.
I drive enough to move my car from one side of the road to the other side
for street
cleaning. And I go to the grocery store. The grocery store has a parking lot where I live, so it's nice. So that's basically the extent of my driving. Otherwise, I just take public transit, which is still amazing. I love just like that way I can just sit on the train and do writing and like listen to cool music. That's literally all I do now, other than work.
I'm trying to figure out why. I'm sorry. I'm trying to figure out why I have a thumbs up on my page for a minute.
I have no idea. Like, I was doing this the other night. Like, for people random.
I think what's happening is it's like it might be a new Zoom setting, because I realized something. Wait for it.
Oh, it's doing your hand. Oh, it's doing movement. So if you do this.
Yeah.
Let's see. I don't know. We're jumping around on the thing, so I don't know.
So what happened on mine is it'll have like almost like a little timer that'll start to say like, your hand is raised. And, it's like tick 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 tick. And it's like, if you want to lower it, like it gives you a little countdown before it posts it, so that you're not randomly thumbs upping, or it's like, yeah.
Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. I do know they have they have a new app on the Zoom, so you can do things like trivia questions and stuff like that. So maybe we'll do maybe that might be a fun thing to do on one of the Hoot chats
Yeah,
whenever we do the
absolutely.
next one. My guess is probably not till November, like 'cause I know I know October. I mean, we can do a random one, but I know most people are out because three-quarters of
Yeah,
the sideshow population works for some haunted house. So
yeah, or either you work for a haunted house, or you private parties, or shows,
yeah,
or I
yeah.
mean,
So it's
and plus,
yeah, like we talked about it, and like earlier, I was like, oh yeah, cool, do it monthly, and I went, oh no, it's October next. Yeah, it's gonna be. I mean, I'll throw it up there and see if
well,
people are else.
as it is by Awareness Day, then maybe we could do bi-monthly.
Yeah, yeah, it's true, I guess.
It's not the way that exactly works, but it works.
No, no, I figured, yeah. Well, I don't know. We'll figure it out. So, sideshow people watching this later or now, whichever. Uh, the Hoot will on the sideshow Hoot Nanny Facebook page will have a thing talking about when we can do it. As soon as I can figure out how to do polls on the Facebook page, which is wonky. So, I'll get it figured out. I'm smart, ish. Uh, but yeah. So yeah, we got people watching us. You guys have any, you guys want to chime in? You can. Like Drama Freak said, the Mazda joke even made her laugh, which is nice because that's a really good fucking solid joke.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I was proud of myself when it, and I was proud when it originated, and I'm even in some ways more proud that it lives on like well after that play went by the wayside, and it's like it's still alive in someone's household, and it's like that delights me.
well, the fact is, like, if you're riding shotgun with somebody in a Mazda 3, you can always make that joke. All right, cool.
Yes,
Sitting down, are we having a little Mazda 2? Because that's still solid joke, regardless. As long as there's two people in that car, solid fucking joke.
and
Liz,
and
yeah,
also
Liz wants a
if
hot
it's
dog.
somebody that if somebody that doesn't get it, which is possible, and again, not a thing wrong with that, and they look at you really strangely, all you have to do to get out of it, you're like, the ripcord to parachute out of it is do 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 Mazatwa, do 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 do, and then you're fine.
That's fair, yeah. And yeah, you guys are welcome for getting that song stuck in your head now.
Yes, free of charge.
That
That will
yeah.
that. Although, like when that song gets in my head and a few others, it can live rent free. Like I'm not mad at it.
Well, that's always like people go. I have some other song stuck in my head. I got those songs stuck in my head. I always say I can get that song out of your head, but you have another song stuck in your head. How
You'd
bad do
say
you
that, but
want that song?
I have an eraser song, or I have like a like a neutralizing song.
Yeah.
And weirdly enough, it's "When I'm 64" by the Beatles. Like I don't love
Well,
it.
I always
I
use
don't hate it.
Phenomena. Yeah, like
Yeah,
yeah, but Phenomena gets stuck in everybody's head, but you'll get any other song get out of your head with it. I don't
yeah.
have the problem with getting music stuck in my head. I never have. I'll like it'll stick in my head for like I don't know, like an hour or two, and then I'll go, all right, cool, I'm stuck in this song. I'm gonna list something completely different, which will completely vamp it out of my head, so it's fine.
Right. Like if I'm like sort of circling back to it all the time, like back, and it comes back and it comes back, and it's like, all right, then I'll start, like humming to myself or whatever, like "When I'm 64," like, because it's like, it's kind of like the perfect neutral. Like I don't love it, I don't hate it, and it's pleasant. And then it just neutralizes it and it goes away.
I like what last week because I just had like stuck in because like driving myself and our good friend Kita and her boyfriend went to a thing last Wednesday, and so we're like riding the train to Jersey, and so I'm like in my head I'm like literally I'm just like all right cool, and like literally I'm just going my baby takes the morning train, and just that whole Sheeta Easton song, and like I started singing out loud, and like literally like Adam, Kita's partner, had that
Yeah,
song
I
stuck in
know
his
it.
head for
Sure.
2 days. Yeah, he got that song stuck. Well, it's for the people watching too. Uh,
Ah, yeah, yeah.
so they got that song got stuck in his head for 2 days, and literally like he messaged me and goes, "Hey, that fucking song," and I go, "Oh, that's too bad." And I posted the video on my video chat on my Facebook page just to kind of go, "And here you go. Let's keep that train rolling, as it were."
Hey,
Uh,
nicely done.
hey, yeah. So yeah, but I told but then I also go I go, "All right, cool. I can get that song stuck out of your head." He goes, "All right, cool." I go, "But you'll get another song stuck in your head." how bad do you want it out? He goes, I want it out. I go, that's what I got. I just have 2 words. Mana mana. And then like literally it gets almost anybody. I've only had that not work once because I met somebody who had never heard the song before. And then so I promptly shot them, killed them, and buried them in the swamps in Houston.
Sure.
Because
Well, in the
that's just
South, you can do that
blasphemy.
because they needed killing is a valid excuse.
Yeah, mana mana. I mean, that's why. Well, the fact is, like, well, she was like 22, and I go, I still went. That's just no excuse. You should know this
So
song. And
so weirdly enough, today, and that reminds me of, so I was driving to work today, and I look over and I do a double take because there's a newish, a much like a later model Dodge Charger that is completely done up as the General Lee. Like it is, and it was like it's one thing to happen to own like, the car from from the 80s, like oh, I bought one of the prop cars, and like now it's like I'm on my way to an auto show where people want to see it. Like that's not great, but it's a thing, right? Where a brand new car, it's like you made some choices. Choices were made, and they're not good ones.
like, so it had the flag on top and everything.
Well, truth be told, as I drive a Mini Cooper, I couldn't really
So
see
you
the
could,
top of
yeah.
their car. I could
And you're
not see the
five
top of
foot
their car.
six, so yeah, it's fair. Yeah, I know. I've ridden in your car, so I know how.
Yeah. I mean, so in terms of seeing the top of the car, I had, there were things that prevented me from doing so. But yes, replete with General Lee on the side, and then the O1 and the orange paint job. So one would only imagine, but still.
Well, when they did the reboot movie that was directed by Jay Chandrasekhar from Super Troopers, I mean, they made a whole like bit about how not cool it was having the Dixie flag on top of it. So I thought that was
right, and not only that, so that like and the horn that played Dixie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, if Adam watches the show, he'll get that stuck in his head, and he'll be pissed at both of us.
One can hope. Love you, Adam.
One can hope.
I know, like, he watches this show. He watches it later, but yeah, he watches it. So you're welcome.
Now, I mean, what would have been nice though, if Adam had been in the car with me, even in my Mini, he would have absolutely been able to tell you if there was a Confederate flag on the top of that car.
Oh, he can't fit in your car. What are you talking about?
No, I got a sunroof. He can totally fit in my car.
Oh no, actually, no. Weirdly enough, is the miniature Coopers are weirdly roomy on the inside that people don't realize.
They're TARDISes. They're rolling TARDISes. They're bigger on the inside.
I know. I came close to getting one ages ago, back when they were first. So when they first started coming around again, I was looking for a car, and that was one of the ones I was looking at. But they were still way too new, so weren't sure as far as how reliable they were yet.
Right.
So opted to go with a Honda Accord, which fit me like perfectly. So I had that car until I got flooded. Until I got flooded because Houston.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how it works. But anyway, hey.
Did I ever tell you I almost moved to Houston at some point in my life?
No, actually, no. I do, weirdly enough, is based on all the stories we talk to each other. I have not heard a story about you moving.
So I worked at I work at a museum, and then I'd done a courier trip to the MFA Museum of Fine Arts in Houston, and kind of liked their museum a whole bunch, and liked
it's
what
a really
they
good
were
museum,
about.
yeah.
And it is beautiful. It is beautiful, and so I started talking to them. And even got as far as like interviewed with them, and even to the point I was married at the time, but we even started looking at houses in Sugar Land of all things. And for a variety of reasons, it didn't come to pass. But I was pretty close to living in Houston.
Yeah, no, that's people don't realize as far as I live in a city with amazing. Now I live in a city with amazing museums too, but Houston, like legit across the board, has some fan-fucking-tastic museums. Like their museum of natural science, their dinosaur wing is like it's when they rebuilt it, it's considered the best, at least in the U.S. now. It
Wow.
tops, I think, like L.A. had like the best one for quite a while, but like when they like Houston goes, well, L.A.'s is cool. Let's like make it even cooler. And so like that's cool. The Museum of Fine Arts is fucking phenomenal. The Museum of Contemporary Arts is amazing, and like across the board, they have a really good Holocaust. Here's the problem about saying it's a great Holocaust museum. Is
No.
not a
It's
really good
a
thing to
yeah.
say, but you know what
But
I
I get what
mean.
you're saying. It's a very yeah.
It
It's
is very well done. It's
yeah.
a very well done museum, and so it's one of those people like is like Houston gets forgotten about traveling for stuff like that because the joke was like fact is Houston is a horrible place to visit but a great place to live, but that's only because nobody knows about the cool shit in Houston unless you
Right.
live there. But yeah, the museums bar none. Uh, I I have yet to like here in New York. I have yet to go to museums. The time when I could have went to set up as far as money stuff is when my toe was broken, and so the idea of going anywhere
Sure.
was just like I made one outing a week to go do stuff, and that's because I went. All right, cool. I'm gonna go either go grocery shopping or it's been 2 weeks now, and I have a boot now, so I can go to go to this show and just like very selective, but.
Right.
But hopefully soon I get to go check out the cool kick-ass museums. That's the other thing I want to go do is I want to go hit like the anyway. And I need
So
to make
yeah.
my trip back. I need to make my trip back down to DC so that way I can like go hit all those museums. I've only done the one so far, and I loved it, which is really weird. Like the one museum I can get in to go see was the Museum of the American Indian,
Oh
which
yeah.
is actually really nice. But
It's a beautiful museum. Yeah. NMAI, National Museum of the American Indian. Yes.
no, it's really like because like when I came and visited, and I was staying with our good friend Sally Cinch, and also had been on the
Sure.
show too. Uh, she had the day off. She goes, "All right, cool. Do the." And I went, "All right, cool. I don't normally want to do the touristy thing, but I want to go to like fucking in DC. I gotta go to at least a museum.
Right.
I think I'm legally required to
Yeah.
stepping into by coming into the DC area. I have to go to at least one of the museums, and just because of the pandemic, everything is like even though they're free, it's still ticketed, so that way they don't have that
Right.
many people in the stuff at the time, and they're
Right. Well, they can keep
staggered. So
track of the numbers of people. Yeah.
yeah, and plus it's also staggered, so not all the museums are open every day. So it's like
Right.
this one's open this day, da, 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 and just and so like the bigger museums that happen to be open, just like Air and Space that was out. Like I'd had to like reserve tickets like 3 weeks back,
Right.
for free. Like or I think that
Even
was
in
like
the before times. Even in the before times, Air and Space is always just packed.
yeah. So and I went all right, cool, and maybe the spot where it has all the television stuff like that, but that wasn't happening to be open that day, and
Mm.
just because that would be the other thing I would love to have gone to do is like going to go see all the cool television shit. Uh, but well, that'll be I guess like it's
Yeah.
like three
They'll be,
hours south, so it's nothing for me to.
yeah.
It's not
It'll
really
be here.
yeah. So yeah. Anyway, and plus I got to do the muter at some point in fucking Philly.
Yeah. That's a great place too.
Well, yeah, Miss Cherry Delight. We're just gonna try to coordinate a plan to go do that, and I think maybe we might get a Harley to come out and see us while we do it.
Cool. Well, let me know because I'm only like an hour or so.
Yeah, it's like halfway.
Or like 2 hours from Philly.
Yeah,
so.
it's like literally it's like halfway between us. So
Yeah, absolutely.
but yeah, no, it's like whenever that happens, I don't know when. Anyway, so yeah, it's been really nice working for this wine shop. So they give me free wine, and so I am 2/3 of the way through this bottle. Thank you.
Nice.
Thank you, Grape Point Wines.
For those keeping score at home, you're 2/3 of the bottle. Maybe you should have like one of those, like you see them like for donations or something. It's like there's like red. It's like
going up, and the other way it's going down. As I like, it's,
right.
Ah, man,
it's like, oh man, we're about halfway through the show, but we're 2/3 of this bottle of wine.
I gotta see if there's like a plug and play for that, or just have to. That might be tricky, but we'll figure it out. I don't know.
Yeah. Or you could just
wine or whiskey or whatever.
You could set up drink cam, right? You could just have like another little camera
Ooh, that's like I can actually that's actually really easy because I do have a spare webcam that I can put and just put it like basically as like a little window up in the top corner where we can watch that bottle. Like you'll see me
Yep.
pick it up, pour, put it down, you can watch it. Oh, that might be a really good shtick. I don't know.
Yep.
What do you?
Drink
Yeah,
cam.
if you guys are down for it, drop me a line to say if you want to watch the drink cam. That's cool. It's also on brand, so.
Yeah, it's definitely on brand.
And it's funny, people
And-
always ask me, "You drink all the time?" I go, "No, I like literally, I only do it when I'm around people. Like I'm home alone, I don't drink. I make a point not to. Um, Even like a lot of times I go out, I may have a drink. I don't drink heavy. Like I'm drinking heavy. I'm not even drinking that heavy right now. But it's, but yeah, only times I drink is when I'm talking to people around people, and this counts as being around
yeah,
people.
this
So.
counts. Sure. Sure.
Actually, weirdly enough, because I had to pre-tape last week's show with Doctor Sick, and we were like during the day, and it just felt weird to like drink during the day. I mean, like, it's like I know he's been down. I've drank with him, so I know it's okay. But like Emily and we're like chatting during the day, so like, all right, cool. I'm just gonna have coffee and just drink coffee and chat. But like, I didn't. I just low key. I just low played it. All right, cool. Yeah, I didn't talk about drinking at all. I mean,
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the thing. Like, I doubt Dean Martin was as much of a drinker as media said that Dean Martin was a drinker. You know, like I just
oh
don't
well,
think.
that's yeah, that's no, that's the supposed thing was that it was apple juice for the
Or
most part
ginger
that
ale,
he
I've
drank.
also heard.
It just comes down. Well, it's been yeah, but like for like the roasts, I think the roasts like when he does the roasts, like when they did the 1970s Dean Martin roasts, which while those things are amazing, so inappropriate in today's society.
Wildly inappropriate. Yeah.
But still, like if you just went, okay, this is 1970, and just like looked at it through those blinders and lenses, there's some fucking brilliant shit in there. But the things for that was like apple juice. And I remember a thing with Don Rickles. I don't know who was roasting, but he came like Dean always sat next to him. So Dean always sat next to the podium. And so literally, like Don Rickles went and picked up the glass, drank it, and spat it out, going, "Oh my god, I'm gone blind!" Like to help like, sell the bit. So it
Right.
helped sell the bit. But yeah, like according to Dean Martin's son, it was apple juice for the most part. I mean, he did drink on occasion, but like any like if it was on
Right.
like if he was on stage, he didn't drink on stage.
There was something that happened on the Dean Martin show, like well before the roast. Like he had a talk
Yeah.
show.
Oh yeah, he
And
had a variety show. Yeah.
yeah. And apparently there was something where a guest that was supposed to come couldn't come. Like something happened and they couldn't get to the taping of the show or it maybe even been a live show, I think is what it was.
Yeah.
But as such, they said, all right, we'll get someone. Don't worry about it, Dean. Don't worry about it. Well, it took them so long to get somebody, and Dean was in a meeting, and Dean, like they weren't able to tell Dean who it was.
Yeah.
So he completely on faith, like heard a knock at the door. Oh, someone's at the door. Oh, I better go check and see what this is. Opens the door and was genuinely surprised to see somebody there.
Yeah.
And it was like somebody he loved or somebody liked. You know, like it worked out. It worked out really well.
Yeah.
And so from that point on, they never told Dean who the guest was again because they loved his genuine reaction to who was at the door. So then it became a shtick. You know, it became the thing.
Dean Martin.
I really enjoy like where something. Well, like I did this past summer, I did a week with the Great American Sideshow in Jay County, Indiana. And I grew up in Indiana, but that is a very different part of Indiana than where I was from for a variety of reasons. Like it's a very small place, and I grew up in Indianapolis. But what was interesting was like the entire show that we did was like 30, 35 minutes tops. Like that was it. And we had someone eating fire. We had someone throwing knives. We had someone doing blockhead. We had someone swallowing swords. We had, I did a chain break. I did a nail drive. I ripped cards. I laid on a bed of nails. Like all of these things, all within like 30 minutes. I mean, it was kind of like shot out of a cannon, never stopped, and then we were done. But what was interesting is watching how the thing developed over the week, because we did the same show, but we didn't always do it in the same way exactly. I mean, obviously you can't, unless you're like kind of Disney automatrons, you really can't do that, right? So
Mhm.
there was one point where like doing the bed of nails, which is one of, I think is like, we both can agree that's like one of the gateway drugs to sideshow in general, is you lay on a bed of nails or you walk on glass or you shove something up your nose and you're like, all right, sideshow. I like it. I can do this. I want this. I like this, while laying in this bed of nails, I would come out and they're like, this is you probably noticed this bed of nails here on stage, but it's not just any bed of nails. It's the bed of nails that Hot Todd Lincoln slept on until he was 12 years old. His dad thought it would make him strong, flex, and it's like, thought it would make him tough, and I bang my chest. It just made him weird. And then, but then it became like a matter of I would like balk at how many nails there were, and then as I would take the shirt off to like show that it was not a fake bed of nails, I apparently wiggled once, and he's like, yeah, that wiggle was completely unnecessary. And which meant in my mind, that wiggle is absolutely necessary for every show after, right? So it's just a little shaky shake. And, it just kind of evolved, which is really interesting. I mean, it's one of the values, I think, of going to, or like working shows like that. If you have sort of the same script and then you keep playing with it over and over and over. And I mean, we did 18 or so shows that week, and so it's like, you get to really play with it.
Yeah, I find it like it's one of those things I haven't done with what they call a grind, what they call a grind show, which is like basically multiple shows a day sort of stuff. I am very much as we get behind the curtain a little bit for people right here, but this was also said here on one of the earlier episodes of the show, is I'm a nightclub act. And by our great and inimitable sideshow legend Chris Christ has said there is nothing wrong with that. It's just as important as anything else in sideshow, and that motherfucker says I'm cool. That's good enough for me. But I've always been So I've always been fascinated by at some point I'll do a grind act, whether it's maybe Coney Island on this freak show by the sideshow or seashore next year, or I'll get invited to do a tent act or something, which is what you did. Great American Sideshow, which is amazing. Jay Braggart, I think he books that show, and Jay's a good friend.
Jay's great. And
I knew him back in Houston. And you had Odd Corey was part of that show. So no, he's been there consistently. And was Juju there when you were there?
What's that?
Was Juju there when you did the show?
Yes, Juju was there. Juju was there for most of the week. She came a little bit later, but yeah, it was there for the majority of the week. Savannah was there. So it was Jay, Savannah, Corey, Juju, and myself was the show for that week that I was there, which was great. It was a good show. And
that's a good lineup. That's a good lineup of people. They're all once again, all those people are amazing people. So I'm always, but it's really cool. Somebody's talking to people about sideshow, because I do this and I talk to stuff. So I'm always talking to different people, and so a lot of people this is not to meaning the other tent show that's rocking around, but everybody keeps saying that World of Wonders is the only one rocking around. I go, dude, fucking Tommy's fucking killing it every week too. But don't forget Great American Sideshow, and there's one or two others, and
Hawthorne. I think Hawthorne's another one.
Hawthorne does one, and there's one other whose name I'm not mentioning as far as promoter, but I know performers who do it. And so if I see them performing, I'll hype them doing it, not the show itself, because the guy who runs it's a piece of shit, and I don't want to deal with that nonsense. So
fair enough.
That's also supposedly, I don't know this person, but the people I do know that I trust and make such judgments, that's why I say so. Anyway, hey, we have 5 minutes to go, which is cool. Or longer. Dude, it's my fucking channel. I can talk as long as I want. Or you can talk as long as I want. Yeah, that's how it works. Yeah, I got a thing coming on afterwards. But guess what? I can start that whenever I want to. If you guys are tuning in and want to watch the movie, cool. You're going to watch this first.
Right.
You're welcome.
Yeah. It's, actually, at that point, you can just basically tell them if they have any issue that you can say, you know what? Deal with it.
Yeah, there you go. make sure you follow. Oh, yeah, let's get the stuff up. Make sure you follow Todd on all the social medias. He's Hot Todd Lincoln, which you can see right underneath him on Instagram. He does these about once a weekish or more, however often, like
or
really
less,
cool
yeah,
little
depending.
and just like at least I go at the worst, it's once a week.
Right.
These little vignettes of like these little cool little videos of him doing lots of cool like strength, mostly strength stuff, but he does some other stuff too.
Mostly
So
strength
they're
stuff.
always,
Yeah.
but they're
I
also
mean, the
a lot
most
of
recent
fun.
one was a kind of a blend for International Escapology Day,
Yeah.
where I mentioned that I put the apology in escapology, and the fact that I had arm cuffs that had number 8 chain, which takes about 300 or so linear pounds to bust out of. But so I had the straight jacket on with the arm cuffs here, and so even to get out of it, I had to snap those chains, all while wearing my that ridiculous super fun blindfold of mine with the googly eyes.
Oh yeah.
But then so like I did, broke the chains, got out of the straight jacket, all while blindfolded, only to at the end be triumphant and go, ta-da! But of course I was facing the wrong way, as that would work, and ripped off because blindfolded. Right. Where do I must have put it somewhere. Where did I put that?
No, it's amazing. So
but yeah, it's on the Instagram.
Yeah. And Todd's had videos on the Devil's Hour a few times as well. So
Yeah, absolutely. And they're usually on Instagram and Facebook. Todd Gardner on Facebook.
Oh, Todd Gardner on Facebook, yeah.
But
I just like throwing people to professional stuff, just makes it easier. Plus, I just put their Instagrams because weirdly enough, is like while people may Facebook, they don't talk about being part of Facebook, but everybody will say they're on Instagram. So that's why I went, all right, cool. No. I'm just gonna hype
so Hot Todd Lincoln
Instagram.
On Instagram is the easiest place. But I'm trying to see if there's anything handy, like in the last couple minutes, that we could tear into, quite literally. What? Fine. We'll try this. Deck of cards.
Deck of cards.
Brand new deck. Get rid of that pesky plastic that way.
That's what makes it tough.
That is what makes it tough. Now, going to shuffle them up. Okay. And just tell me when to stop.
Stop.
Right there? All right,
yeah,
now,
sure.
This is going to be your card, but unfortunately, because I don't have my blindfold with me, we're going to have to go on the faith-based system here, right? I'm going to flip this up. That is your card. Can you see it?
I can see it, yes.
Okay. Still eyes are closed. Can you see that my eyes are closed?
Yes.
All right. Am my whole thing in frame here?
I can see you completely.
And if I put my cards on the legs, it's still in frame.
It's fine. We can see you do stuff, so it's fine.
Okay.
You're making continuous motion, which makes it hard to trick stuff. And
yeah, I mean the virtual thing. But here's what we're going to do. All right. I'm going to flip on the deck, not once, not twice, but thrice, because I like the word thrice. It makes you sound all erudite when you say it. Thrice, right?
Yeah, so, it's the Mazda thrice. So yes.
Yeah, thrice. So like
the Mazda thrice, yes.
Mazda thrice. So what's going to happen? Once, twice, Mazda thrice.
Yeah.
Card's going to be on the bottom of the deck.
Okay.
So once, twice, Mazda thrice.
Yeah.
Jack of diamonds, right?
Yes, it is. No, it's not. It's not. Totally not.
No. See, this is what I would do at the fairs. Like we didn't have a lot of time, so I would say, the thing is, I never claimed to be a magician. I'm definitely much more of a strongman, right? So you just end up ripping a deck of cards like so, which would end up with people going, oh. I'm like, I know. I was stunned into silence the first time I saw it too. But then I would say, but, as a society, we all believe in second chances. So we're going to try it one more time. I feel like I'm halfway there, but I don't know. Once, twice, Mazda thrice.
You know what? That is totally not the card.
That is totally not the card. So once again, here's the deal. Not really strongman. So, not really magician, more strongman. not really a strongman all of a sudden.
That's okay. I've
There
been
we go.
drinking. It's fair.
All right. So, but then, oh, it's problematic. You see what the issue is.
Oh yeah, I can't really see what the cards are. Yeah, that makes it really hard.
I mean, that could be your card right there, but there's no numbers.
Yeah,
And the G spot deserves more accuracy than I'm able to give it right now.
that's
So I
fair.
guess it didn't really work. I mean, I would have been delighted to find your 4 diamonds, but I don't think it's going to happen. What was your card?
fair. Oh, it was the Jack of Spades. That was a 4 diamonds. Of course it was.
Get out of here! Get out of here with that.
All right. Thanks, Todd. Man, I always love talking with you. At some point soon, we got to hang out live in person again. And chat and do dumb. We got to do dumb stuff together more often.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks everybody for tuning in. I completely appreciate it. More stuff's happening on the channel, of course. As I figure out my real life schedule, my work schedule, and then fitting my online schedule to make it all work. Just means because it's one of the things I have to make it all work for people who makes it worthwhile people watching it too. Because I can broadcast at 2:00 in the morning, but who's going to be watching that live?
Fair.
But so I got to figure out times. Like, luckily, I have Thursdays off, I have Fridays off, and I have Saturdays off, which are great to do broadcasting. But also, guess what? That's also when real life shit's happening too, and I want to do that stuff, whether it's performing or seeing that sort of stuff. So, that's just how it works. But guys, just pay attention. You'll see when stuff comes on. And even if it's not live, you'll see some people like that. So, because Todd did a thing, I'm going to do a thing too. Nothing
do
major.
a thing.
It's the things I do. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Be safe, be cool, be groovy. And, as always, keep thinking.
Would that make you a thirst trap?
That's, oh yeah. Oh, that's good. I like that a lot. I'll use that.
It's all yours.
Bye. Yeah.